Hundred Years' War. The Hundred Years' War was a long series of conflicts between England and France that lasted from 1337 to 1453. It began because English kings claimed the French throne and controlled large territories in France. England initially won several important battles using the powerful longbow, which was extremely effective against armored knights. France eventually regained momentum, helped by the leadership and inspiration of Joan of Arc, and pushed England out of most of its territory in France. American Revolutionary War. Fought from 1775 to 1783, the American Revolutionary War was a conflict between the 13 American colonies and Great Britain. The colonies rebelled against heavy taxes and the fact that they had no representation in the British government. Over time, the colonies formed their own army and received crucial military support from France. The war ended with the Treaty of Paris, which officially recognized the United States as an independent nation. French Revolutionary Wars. The French Revolutionary Wars took place from 1792 to 1802 after the French monarchy was overthrown during the French Revolution. Many European monarchies feared that revolutionary ideas like liberty and equality would spread to their own countries. Several nations formed alliances and attacked France in an attempt to restore the monarchy. Instead, France mobilized massive citizen armies and won many battles, spreading revolutionary ideas across Europe. Napoleonic Wars. The Napoleonic Wars lasted from 1803 to 1815 and were driven by the ambitions of Napoleon Bonaparte. After rising to power in France, Napoleon led powerful armies across Europe and defeated several major powers. His military strategies changed warfare and allowed France to dominate much of the continent. However, his invasion of Russia weakened his empire, and he was eventually defeated at the Battle of Waterloo. American Civil War. The American Civil War was fought from 1861 to 1865 between the Northern Union states and the Southern Confederate States. The war centered largely on the issue of slavery, as well as disputes over states' rights and political power. It became one of the deadliest wars in American history. The Union victory preserved the United States and led to the abolition of slavery. Franco-Prussian War. The Franco-Prussian War took place from 1870 to 1871 between France and Prussia and its German allies. The conflict was sparked by political tensions and strategic moves by Prussian leader Otto von Bismarck. Prussia's modern army quickly defeated France and even captured the French emperor. The victory allowed the German states to unite into a single German empire, greatly shifting the balance of power in Europe. World War I. World War I lasted from 1914 to 1918 and involved many of the world's major powers. It began after the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary triggered a chain reaction of alliances declaring war. Much of the fighting took place in long trench systems across Europe. New weapons like machine guns, tanks, and poison gas made the war extremely destructive. World War II. World War II was the largest and deadliest war in human history, fought from 1939 to 1945. It began when Nazi Germany invaded Poland, causing Britain and France to declare war. The conflict spread across Europe, Africa, and Asia and involved dozens of countries. It included massive battles, the Holocaust, and the first use of nuclear weapons before ending with the defeat of Germany and Japan. Korean War. The Korean War began in 1950 when North Korea invaded South Korea in an attempt to unify the peninsula under communist rule. The United Nations, led mainly by the United States, intervened to defend South Korea while China supported the North. The war saw rapid advances and retreats before settling into a stalemate. It ended with an armistice in 1953, leaving Korea divided. Vietnam War. The Vietnam War lasted until 1975 and involved communist North Vietnam fighting against South Vietnam, which was supported by the United States and its allies. Much of the fighting took place in jungles and relied heavily on guerrilla warfare. The war became highly controversial in the United States and eventually ended when North Vietnamese forces captured Saigon. Gulf War. The Gulf War began in 1990 when Iraq invaded Kuwait. The invasion threatened global oil supplies and led to international condemnation. A large coalition of countries led by the United States launched a military campaign to remove Iraqi forces from Kuwait. After a massive air campaign and a short ground war, Kuwait was successfully liberated. War on Terror. The War on Terror began in 2001 following the September 11th terrorist attacks on the United States. It initially focused on Afghanistan, where U.S. and allied forces targeted the Taliban government that had sheltered the terrorist group Al-Qaeda. Over time, the conflict expanded into other regions and military operations. The campaign reshaped global security policies and counterterrorism efforts.